Trump's UN speech filled with repeated false claims, fact-check shows. On September 24, 2025, former President Donald Trump delivered a speech at the United Nations General Assembly that included several false and misleading claims, according to a fact-checking analysis. Below is a detailed breakdown of the key statements made during the speech, cross-referenced with available evidence. Claim 1. Economic growth under the Trump administration. Trump claimed that his administration delivered the greatest economic recovery in history following the COVID-19 pandemic. Fact check: misleading. While the U.S. economy saw growth in certain sectors after the initial pandemic downturn, the recovery was not historically unprecedented. Data from the Bureau of Economic Analysis shows that GDP growth rates in 2021 and 2022, while strong, were comparable to recoveries following other recessions, such as the 1980s. Additionally, much of the recovery was driven by federal stimulus packages, including those signed under other administrations. Claim 2. Border security and immigration. Trump stated that his policies resulted in the most secure border in U.S. history. Fact check: false. U.S. Customs and Border Protection data indicates that border apprehensions fluctuated during his presidency, with significant spikes in 2019. Policies like the Remain in Mexico program reduced some crossings, but experts note that illegal border crossings remained a persistent issue, and the claim of most secure lacks evidence when compared to historical data. Claim 3. Foreign policy achievements. Trump asserted that he ended wars and brought peace to the Middle East through the Abraham Accords. Fact check: partially true, but exaggerated. The Abraham Accords, signed in 2020, normalized relations between Israel and several Arab states, a diplomatic achievement. However, they did not resolve broader Middle East conflicts, such as the Israeli-Palestinian issue or ongoing tensions with Iran. No major wars were ended during his term, as U.S. troops remained engaged in counter-terrorism operations. Claim 4. COVID-19 response. Trump claimed his administration's response to COVID-19 was the best in the world, citing Operation Warp Speed. Fact check: misleading. Operation Warp Speed accelerated vaccine development, a notable success. However, public health experts, including those from the CDC, have criticized the administration's early pandemic response, including delays in testing and mixed messaging on masks. Global comparisons show countries like South Korea and New Zealand had lower per capita death rates. Claim 5. Energy independence. Trump stated that the U.S. was energy independent under his leadership. Fact check: partially true. The U.S. became a net exporter of petroleum in 2020, a milestone. However, the country still imported significant amounts of oil, and energy independence is a debated term among economists as global markets influence domestic prices. Context and analysis. Trump's speech aimed to highlight his past presidency while critiquing current global leadership. However, the repetition of these false or exaggerated claims, many of which have been debunked in prior speeches, drew criticism from fact-checkers. PolitiFact and other organizations noted that such statements risk misleading audiences about historical records and policy outcomes. The UN speech underscores a broader pattern of rhetorical exaggeration often used to bolster Trump's political narrative ahead of future campaigns. Fact-checking remains critical to ensuring public discourse is grounded in evidence.